good. I'm good.
Your locks look amazing.
They're really good.
Look. Okay, so I got them just done, and I was just like, we need to make sure that I'm a part of the lock gang today.
That's so good.
Cute.
Welcome to the channel, finally. I feel like this is long overdue.
It
Definitely.
I feel like we've had like these run-ins and stuff like this, but I feel like it's never been the time. But this is perfectly, because now we're in the Ungodly Hour, so let's have a wonderful time, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, first of all, this album.
Thank you.
Chloe, don't cry. Don't cry yet. Because I'm going to give you a lot of love, and I just want you to feel it. Okay, so let's jump right in. Let's talk. I want to catch up first, and I want to, before we talk about Ungodly Hour, I want to make sure we get a whole well-rounded situation. So being signed to one of the greatest entertainers of all time, one, does it come with pressure, do you think? Does it come with pressure to, produce and make these crazy moments to make people hey, yeah, we're part of this team too, and we're sickening by ourselves?
Yeah, it doesn't come with pressure from Beyonce. I think it comes with our self-inflicted pressure. We put that on ourselves to be greater than what we did our last time, our last project. For this album, when we first started, that was kind of our mindset. Okay, what are we gonna do now? The Kids Are All Right was really successful, and the Grammy nominations, where do we start here? Blank canvas, So I definitely think that sometimes we put a bit of pressure on ourselves just to motivate ourselves to do better than we were before. And I think that that's sometimes good. I mean, we need that pressure to grow. Yes.
Absolutely. So what is this project? How is this project different from making The Kids Are All Right? Because to me, let me tell you, so listening to The Kids Are All Right, the production, it felt so it's the growth from Sugar Symphony to The Kids Are All Right. And then just the two of us too. You can't forget about that moment. You can tell the growth in between each project. So making this, I felt like this was your grand debut. It felt I feel like the Ungodly Hour was we're breaking free, we're here, you're gonna hear us. What did you have to do differently creatively to make that moment?
Wow. Well, my sister and I, we never ever like to force anything, because when that happens, it becomes very suffocating. And I remember, when we first sat each other down, we were like, okay, let's start this album now. We rented out this beach house in Malibu, and we brought all our equipment, and we got it for 3-4 days. And it was me, Halle, and Branson, and we got it 3-4 days after Christmas. And we were there, and we created 15 songs. And the two of the songs that actually came from those 3-4 days was Baby Girl, the Rest of Your Life. I love dogs. I miss my baby.
It's a little girl running past this window.
Oh,
oh, come here, you gotta say hi now, man. You gotta say hi, man. But he got a little injury.
Oh, hi,
Only 3 months. It's 4 months now.
So sweet.
So he got a little paw. His little paw he got jumped out of my hand. He got too excited.
Oh, look at him. So cute. I love you,
yeah, he's just so all this attention is not on me. I need to figure out why.
But so after we got this beach house, we did 15 songs, and two of the songs from the 15 was Baby Girl and Rest of Your Life. And so we felt really good about that. We were okay, I think we know what we want to say. We made a really big mood board. We pasted 4 posters together, and a lot of it had a bunch of nude women on it. There was a phrase that said "trouble with angels," and because we just wanted to symbolize us showing more of our sensuality with this project. I'll be 22 in July. My sister's 20. We are grown women now, and a lot of times people still think we're teenagers.
Talk
and we
about
kind of
it.
wanted to that mold this time, and we don't. We're really private with our personal lives, so we kind of want to tell it all in the music. And
I heard it.
yeah, so the first month was good and successful, but then we kind of pigeonholed ourselves in a way, because we were what do people want to hear from us? And we made the worst shit we've made.
Yeah, we started getting other people's voices in our heads about making music for other people, for the general public. What's the big song?
Y'all took my questions right out of my hand. I just felt y'all was yeah, actually we had a lot to say. Because that's literally, and I thought that in my mind, because like I said, we've been here for a while, and I saw you grow from teenagers to grown women, and this project literally sounds oh, these girls grew up. They've experienced life now. Something has changed. Things have changed. Their perspectives have changed. And I think that because you guys have grown up in front of people, they expect or they try to like, okay, well, we know you guys can do this, but can you guys do that? And it's like, but I don't want to do that. And that's not what I did. That's not what I give. You know what I mean?
Yes. So it was like a life lesson.
A life learned lesson.
It was a life lesson for us in a way, because we realized when you try to please other people, you're not pleasing yourself. Mm-hmm. And so when we kind of got out of that thinking, that's when everything else started to flourish, and we started to make these great songs, and the songs started flowing. And like when we'd have our tea time and kikiing, that's when the songs would write itself.
That's when it just starts to throw out.
Yeah. So then we were like, we're gonna make what we want to make. Yeah. We're inspired by so much right now. Let's just create and not think so hard about it. And that's what we did.
So when you sit down, and Chloe, I know you are a beast, and I need to tell you this to your face. The production, wow. How did you learn to produce? Number one, like, did you just like start playing with a computer, like, and say, you know what, I know how to do this, like, because before we even get to Ungodly Hour, I want to take people back, because you know that when I do my videos, you guys are always saying your old music, or always saying like a track that's somewhere that you have to go find, because that's like the songs that to me are like magical. How did you start producing stuff like that?
Yeah, well, my sister and I, we've always loved music, so we started when we were like. We started to want to make original music around 10 and 8. And we go around and we meet these producers and songwriters. And they think we could sing, but no one wanted to write music for little girls.
Yeah, because what do you write for like tiny little girls?
Yeah.
And you're like smoking weed and on a whole other level.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm sorry, I don't have stuff for y'all.
Exactly. So we noticed that, our dad noticed that, and he sat us out at the living room table and he's like, look, girls, no one's going to do this for you. You got to learn how to do it for yourselves. And so we researched, how to write a proper song structure, how to use figurative language in songwriting. And so it kind of started from there. And then I've always been such a huge nerd. I've loved math and science when I was in school, and I love computers. So it was easy kind of learning. I would go on YouTube, I'd look up, how do I mix this? How do I raise the EQ here? How do I do that? And I think it was trial and error with us, figuring out the sounds that we liked and that we loved. And I feel like just the more and more we put into it, the more I started producing, the more we started writing, the more we started recording, we found our sound. And when we really felt like we found it was with Drop, I guess you could say. That was like the first like beat I was actually proud of. And we mixed Halle's electric guitars with these heavy 808s. And we were like, I'm kind of feeling this. And, my sister and I, we executive produced all of our projects.
Oh, I know.
We collaborated with a lot of different people for this project as well. But what I loved is that we'd still take the project back home. We'd load it up with all of our backgrounds, and we have our studio in our garage. So every song on here, we touched it. We wrote it. We did production, whether it's additional production or co-production, everything we have touched. And I'm just happy that we have been able to have that creative freedom so we can create the music we want to create.
You have the same creative freedom when it comes to your visuals and making that vision come to life. Like, who thought about, okay, let's talk about Do It, because we have to. That moment, that's when I saw you guys, like, it just took I'm like, my babies are grown. My girls are here. Do It. It was such a moment. The visual was so beautiful. Like, who thought about the stage lighting going all over and just being in the box and just giving, like, this editorial type stance? Like, who thought of this?
So our creative director for this project is Andrew McCatsey, and
I think I follow him on Twitter. I believe it's amazing.
So and he is the one who had that amazing vision for our video for Do It. Of course, we wanted to definitely show our grown side. We want to have a bit of choreography since it's, the song is fun, and he just really helped that vision come to life. So we love him. He did Forgive Me as well, and
wow.
So
Forgive Me, so the body being drugged. I was like, what happened? So like, how did we get to the body being drugged? Because I know Forgive Me, you guys talk about that in the song. Yeah. So give me context of the so writing Forgive Me, and like you guys this is being made in Malibu, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? Like, what's the backstory of the song?
Yeah, so we made Forgive Me actually with Nisha in a session in LA, and we love her so much. She's an amazing young amazing Black woman who's breaking barriers with her songwriting as well, and we always love collaborating with her. But the studio session was so interesting because I remember I had the flu, like Chloe had the flu. We were sick as dogs in the session.
I think you can hear the vocals.
Yeah, you can hear it in our vocals. Nisha was sick as well. And we all were just kind of like out of it. And Soundwave, the amazing producer who's done stuff for Kendrick Lamar, he's our sweet friend, and he came, and he's always been just so talented. So we just started writing over this beat that he had, and it just kind of came naturally. You know, we were having girl tea time, talking about, so what's going on in your life? What's going on in your life? Well, girl, this dude, let me tell you, I found out this. Okay, let's put that in the song. So then we started just, you know, talking shit in the song, and each went in the booth and laid down melodies, and then we kind of puzzle pieced it all together. And after that was made, we realized, okay, yep, this song is definitely about taking our power back and not taking crap from anyone. So, you know, we definitely wanted to show that in the video. Because, you know, there's themes throughout our album that says, if you break our hearts, we will, you know, do
like Nipsey. Like Nipsey was like, bitch, you come, this car will be done. I'm coming.
Yeah, exactly. So we just wanted to show that us as Black women, we have power and we are strong and we can stand up for ourselves when the time is right.
That's what it felt like. I was like, at first, I was like, is this a continuing thing through the whole album? Because through the album, you can hear even when, what does she think of me? Ooh, that's a T. And I know that song came from T Session. It sounded like it. It sounded like somebody sat down and was like, this is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. And I need to put this in a song. And I'm like, I felt like I was talking to one of y'all going through something.
It was so funny how it happened too, because I was doing something. I was in the house and Halle's in our garage, which is our home studio.
Yeah.
I walk in and she has her acoustic guitar in her hand, and she's like, so this is what I came up with. And she sang the first verse and the pre of the song. She's like, this is what I wrote so far, and she plays it. I'm like, because I knew what she was going through, right? I was like, oh girl. So then we sat down, we finished writing out the hook and the rest of the song. And then we wanted the production to be minimal, but very impactful. So we finished that out, recorded it, and we were like, this is so tea.
Yeah.
And then later we added a full orchestra on it, like months later. Yeah. So if you listen closely, you can hear strings throughout certain songs in the album. So that one.
That's who was on the bass?
Oh, so Giddy, who's on the bass.
Because that bass was nasty.
Busy Boy and Don't Make It Hard on Me. Giddy is an amazing producer. He has so much swag for a white guy. I love him so much. Like boom, boom, every time we're in the studio. So yeah, he did the great bass on Don't Make It Hard on Me. Yeah, because
that's what I'm thinking of. Don't Make It Hard on Me. Because the beginning, the bass is like, okay, I want to jam. What am I to jam to? What are we jamming to? What's about to go in? And so writing these songs compared to The Kids Are Alright, do you feel like you had to think, okay, now that we have more freedom as being grown, let me really open my mind and talk how I want to talk? Is that how it felt? It felt like from The Kids Are Alright to Ungodly Hour.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it kind of felt like just us being allowed to be more open and free. I mean, The Kids Are Alright album was definitely us kind of finding who we are and just going with the flow of things and knowing that, hey, we're young, but we can do this, right? Yeah. And this album was, no, we figured it out. We're here. And this is what's been happening. And so this album took a lot shorter time to make than The Kids Are Alright. You know, The Kids Are Alright took 3 years. This one took 8 months. 8 months. Yeah. And I think because of just everything that was going on in our life, it just kind of poured out, and it was just, okay, this is it. This is the moment. And let's leave it at that.
And that's exactly how it felt. So, Haley, speaking of, so you have the pleasure of playing Ariel very soon, and that's going to shake the world. But I want to I want to talk to you. I want to get your personal opinion. I actually made an Instagram video maybe like a couple months ago defending you, saying like the girls need to, whatever you have to say about this is ridiculous. I don't know why you have such an opinion about this. Did you feel the backlash? Did it mess with you mentally? Did you feel like kind of like, okay, I don't know why people are hating on me getting a role, but okay.
Definitely. I mean, words hurt at the end of the day. When people say stuff about you and they don't really know you, of course that makes you go, oh, okay. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just have to realize that, you know, I'm very blessed and I'm so grateful and honored to even take on this role and make Ariel mine in a kind of way and show other Black girls that, yes, you can be a princess and yes, your skin is beautiful, and show the whole world and show everybody who has something to say that, and that they can, you know, stay angry.
Say that.
Everyone's gonna eat their words when they hear her sing these songs. Like, I've been crying every time I hear her, and like I hear my sister's voice every day, but like, it's just something. She is Ariel. It's something that's so magical, and I'm so proud of her. She's growing so much into her own. And like when it finally hits the fan, I'm gonna be like,
Same, because like, first of all, Haley, when you hit these high notes, that's what makes people like, excuse me, okay, they're singing. Yeah, they're singing. So yes, and I'm like, you with Ariel, it's going, and that's why I was like, the people that's talking shit, y'all don't even know, y'all don't know the music, y'all can't know the music. You can't know the music because you should know that they're giving this role to someone that's going to make this character come alive in a different way. They're really trusted because it's somebody to trust because the voice is there. So I was like, I don't know what y'all complaining about, but cute. Speaking of Disney movies, have you heard this recent rumor about y'all playing Twitches? Like a spinoff in Twitches?
I saw that and it made me so happy because Halle and I are obsessed with Twitches. We were just watching it the other day with our little brother.
Yeah. And absolutely.
1 and 2, they are just.
Imagine if y'all actually got on Twitches. Wouldn't that be sick?
That would be so fun.
Yeah. They look so good though. They look so good and youthful. I don't know if they could be our moms.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could maybe be like a distant auntie.
Yeah.
They were saying mom. I was like, they look a little too young still. And like, y'all are 20. It would be like, they need to be like, all right.
And speaking of movies, Chloe actually did this amazing movie called The Georgetown Project with Russell Crowe in November. And it's a horror movie, and I'm so excited for it to come out because what I saw of her on set was so cool. And you know, so she did another amazing one as well.
I have to stop gagging me like this. Wait a minute. So you in a horror movie?
Yeah, surprisingly, I'm a really big scaredy cat. When the script came through and I read it, I was like, oh, I have to do this. Oh, that's our doorbell because we have home. When I read the script, I was like, this is amazing. And I auditioned and I got the part. And I was in North Carolina for like 2 months. And I learned so much about myself as an actress as well, being with Russell Crowe. He's such a sweet, big teddy bear. And all these other Oscar award-winning actors and actresses. And I'm so happy to be a part of it. I can't wait to do more stuff like that, even with Halle. And that's why the Twitches idea seems so much fun, because it's like with the mystic world and the
absolutely.
Like, I've always wanted to be like a superhero too, so that'll be fun. Like, just stuff like that. I can't wait to branch off more into that.
And that's what I'm going to ask you about, branching off. So in a couple of years, when you guys have all these Grammys, go on a couple world tours. I'm speaking it in existence because I'll be there. And I'm just like, after all of that is done, and I had said in my reaction video to your album, I had said I could clearly see Halle do print. I could see you producing somebody's track and making all these other Grammys on other people's stuff. Because you're like, yeah, you need the juice. It's okay. I'll come in the juice. I guess so. And so what, ideally, for you guys, what do you want to do to branch off? Like, if you had your own situation, what would you do?
Ooh, you know, that's really hard for me to answer. I think that as a creative, I just love to do anything that allows me to express myself and express my art. You know, I am a big jazz head, so I've always been like, oh, well, making a jazz album would be cool one day. You know, my sister here, she is just an amazing powerhouse. So I always have like visions of her doing amazing albums and like touring and producing all her own records. Like, I totally see that for Chloe, just being that next like powerhouse
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. And what else? I just, you know, continuing to express myself in movies and stuff.
It would be so cool for us to like score films.
Yes.
Because one of our favorite things to do is like when studios, when they'll send us like scenes for movies and like TV shows, it's our favorite thing to do, to sit down and write the music for it underneath. So that'll also be fun to get into. And just creating for other artists as well. I feel like, you know, when it comes to our music, sometimes we don't really know what to do until we do it. But when we see other artists, we're like, ooh, they need to do that.
Oh, they need to do this.
So that'll be fun to do too.
That's so me. I literally think that's my whole career. I literally listen to people's music and I'm like, ooh, you can add this.
Yeah.
Oil for this would be so sick.
Yeah.
So, like I said, bringing it back to B, and I know people always bring B up into the conversation, but I guess it's like crazy because you guys are literally like her project, and she's like, "Hey, these are my girls. These are the girls. These are the people I invest in. I believe in them." So, when you play her Ungodly Hour, were you like sitting there like this, like what's she gonna say? Like, how does she respond? Is she gonna say something? Like, what happens?
Of course. I mean, we are always. I mean, it's Beyonce, so we're always like, what is she gonna do?
I love that y'all feel the same way being in her. I mean, it's still big, you know.
So we're always like, what is she gonna say? I hope she likes it. So with this album, you know, we received very few to little no notes for this album. You know, she just
she's a note queen.
Proud of us that she was, and you know that was really surprising because normally. You get a bunch of notes, like all of her thoughts, like, you know, because she's a perfectionist and we really appreciate that opinion. So this time around, it was like, whoa, she must really like
we were like, girl, what
you
must really like the project. And then like every time she posts about it, we're just so grateful for her because she really doesn't have to do that. What I love about her is that she allows us to stand on our own as artists. Mm-hmm. She lets us take the lead. She lets us create the music we want to create. All of the stuff is created here in our home, and then we'll send it to her. So we're given that freedom, and what we create is ours, and I love her for that. And, you know, a lot of artists, sometimes they're signed to labels where they can't create the sound or the music they want to, and they feel pigeonholed and suffocated. So I'm happy we're not in that situation, you know?
Absolutely. And speaking of the whole YouTube graduation performance for Do It, okay, this is what I'm saying. I need a tour. When this COVID releases and we can all come out and play, y'all need to come out and play. Because the stage presence was so like, I was like, did they go through a boot camp? Like, what happened? Like, why are they so, because I remember watching you guys, I remember we saw each other at the On the Run too. Yeah. You guys were opening for that. And it was so, you guys were on the side of the stage singing down. I'm like, oh my God, my girls. But that performance, when you guys were saying, you just said, like, we're here, we felt it. We felt it. We know.
That means a lot. All we ever want to do is just continue to grow.
Yeah.
And, you know, we hope that we're even better tomorrow than we are today. So if that's what we're doing, then I'm happy.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm here for. And I'll be here the whole entire way.
Thank you. We love you so much. Thanks for all your support and your reaction videos too. Like the biggest smile on our faces. I'm like, he's listening to our stuff and singing our
It's songs. Because your music, and to be completely honest, your music, who do you see? Chakra! But no, your music is like I said in my videos, you guys are actual musicians to me. And to be Black, number one, and to be women, it's like magical to see Black women make their own music, write their own music, produce their own music, and actually sound good. And it's not something that you can just pick up off Fruity Loops or something and be like, oh, they made, you know, like it's a generic beat. No, it has personality. It has hills and valleys, and like it goes through transitional. And I'm like, it's not just a simple track. And these girls are sitting here doing this literally in the beginning of their career. Imagine what they're going to do 10 years from now. I have to watch. I have to sit back and watch. So that's why you guys get genuine love from me. It's not because you guys are B girls, which is a complete, you know, that's an addition. But you genuinely are so talented. And you two are literally, and I mean this, I tell all my friends this, you guys are literally like the future of the entertainment business. And I put that on my career. I can see it in the future, you guys being like huge. And I'm like, yep, said it.
Thank you so much.
No problem, ladies. I love you guys so much for coming on the channel.
We love you.
You have to come do this in person. Are you guys in Atlanta right now or in LA?
LA. Where are you?
I'm in LA.
Oh,
so when this whole thing calms down, we have to come do this in person.
Thanks for your time, your amazing personality, and good energy. We love you, and we hope you have a good day.
We'll say bye to the tired ass army.
Bye. Love you.